Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the political matrix. Welcome back to the Political Matrix blogcast. Rob Milford out of Orlando. There's Mike Bates. He's in Pensacola. Jonathan Cole, Navarre. That's Santa Rosa County. Beautiful beaches of the world. Greg Fink finds himself landlocked in Galveston. Tiffany Houston joining us from, it's another show. She could be, well, in a different location in the North Georgia mountains in a secluded area. It's one of those, you drive down the road, you hear banjo music, turn around. It's
That's
one of
right.
those things. Yeah.
What? I had the banjo in the car.
Hey,
Yeah, well,
you know what?
Leave the banjo alone.
Greg plays an awesome banjo.
I do.
Well, these are things I never, ever knew. Wow. The border is a freaking catastrophe. It's a disaster.
Talk about the border.
Yeah, talk about the border. I'm going to talk about the border because you have to basically hate America to allow more than 10 million illegal aliens into our country. No supervision, no screening. The number I've seen is now north of 40,000 Chinese. How did 40,000 Chinese get to Mexico and come into the United States as political refugees? I'm thinking that China doesn't allow people to leave the country, or at least with any money in their pocket or money in their bank account. But hey, they're here now. 40,000. By the way, that's the equivalent of
40,000. The Blaines brought them in.
Yeah, that is 3 divisions in the Chinese army, in case anybody was wondering. The border, Tiffany, what is the deal?
Okay.
What's going on?
So I live in a border county in San Diego County, and I'm in the north part, Oceanside. And Oceanside is the largest city in northern San Diego County, and we're getting approximately 100 migrants coming into the city on a daily basis. They're being sent up there because there's just no room down in the south end of the county. San Diego County Board of Supervisors is set to meet next week to discuss ways to support migrants while also stopping street releases around San Diego County from happening. I'm sure you guys know that the county's only migrant center closed last week, and the county said it has been developing a plan to create a long-term federally funded migrant transfer site and respite shelter, but it's a mess.
That's
it really
crap.
is.
That's just crap.
You got to remember, we have a very large homeless population in the San Diego County area as well.
All of Southern California. Mike Bates, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has sent Florida highway patrolmen to work with their brethren in Texas. He has activated, I'm not sure if it's the National Guard or the State Guard, to go operate support operations. Okay.
Yes, the State Guard.
Your take, Mike.
Well, I mean, the governor certainly has the authority to do that, and if he wants to do that, fine. I mean, I don't think that Ron DeSantis is the one who's going to set border control policy. It's not constitutionally his role. The person who should be enforcing border controls has abdicated that. And the border being wide open is not a failure of American policy. It is American policy. The Biden administration does not want that border closed.
Yeah.
They continuously claim that they don't have the authority to close it, and that the reason it's open is because the evil Republicans won't go along with a compromised border bill that, by the way, would have not stopped any crossings until 1.8 million illegals came across. That was the trigger. It was 5,000 a day. That's 1.8 million a year before it would have stopped. But the president has the current authority under the Immigration and Nationality Act. It's USC 8, Section 1182F. He has the authority to stop the immigration crisis right now. He can close the border by executive decree. Barack Obama did it. Donald Trump did it. George H.W. Bush did it. George W. Bush did it. Jimmy Carter even did it prior, and so did Truman, although they did not use the same act. But the president has the authority to do that. The Supreme Court has upheld that in 2 recent cases. It was Sale v. Haitian Senators Council and Trump v. Hawaii. The president absolutely close that border if he wants to. He doesn't want to. But now that it's a political issue, because the American people understand, surprisingly, what's really going on there, he's now trying to scramble and blame it on the Republicans, but it's not going to work.
Jonathan, Is this just a matter of the Democrats think they're going to pick up the 10 million votes of the illegals who came in, and states like New York and California say, hey, it's okay. Here's your driver's license. Here's your voter registration card. And remember, the Democrats let you in the USA. Is that the giant scheme of things? Have you seen the internal memo on that?
No, there's not an internal memo. It's just it's something that's run amok. So how do you fix it? I mean, let's talk about it. Let's close the border. How do we close it? Bring in troops. We talked about building a wall, and I've always preached walls aren't effective. The Chinese built a wall to keep out bandits, didn't work. Romans built a wall in England to keep out bandits, didn't work. French built a wall to keep the Germans out, it didn't work. The Russians built a wall in East Berlin, it didn't work. Wall's just symbolic, but what's the hard fast? How do we stop the onrush? I mean, because you're talking about thousands of miles of border. I mean, you're talking about those divisions. That's what it's almost going to have to take to keep the whole border secure. That is a lot of money. Are we at that crisis state yet?
Jonathan, I got to stop you right there. I've never heard that much malarkey in 1 2-minute soundbite in my entire life. You absolutely have no clue as to what goes on the border, how to make it work, and they can shut it down. Give it 15 minutes and get everybody on the phone, and they will shut it down. That means no more people coming in, and the people that come in will be turned around post haste. They really, honestly do know how to do this, and they have done it successfully. And while Trump didn't quite figure out how to make Mexico pay for it, I have, and I ain't the brightest bulb in the chandelier here. But how's this 1% of all the money? Number one money maker from Mexico. Mike Bates knows what it is, right? It's people.
Remittances.
That is basically Mexicans who live in the U.S. on Friday, getting their paycheck, going to the Western Union office, and sending money back home to mama and daddy. Okay, that's number one. All we need is 1% of that. That would have paid for the wall. We could have a shipping containers 3 high with razor wire on the top, and I'm not going to come around that. And just have to extend it mile by mile by mile. So there is that. But you absolutely don't have a clue. I've spent time on the border all the way from Harlingen to Laredo, Texas, and that's where they all cross the Rio Grande River. And I feel really sad for the little town that the Texas National Guard has as their operational base. That's where all the ball fields are in town. Little League, which is supposed to start on Saturday, has no place to play Little League ball. Greg Fink, your take?
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, the entire border issue is a mess. I mean, we need to be able to find a way to shut it down and just, basically stop everybody from coming over and put some organizations in this. I mean, the whole idea that they had before with Trump, whenever everybody was waiting in Mexico, and so they could orderly get them in, that was at least somewhat of a fix to a degree. But I mean, we have to have some sort of method. We've done it before. We need to do it again. This is getting out of control. We have 120 countries being represented that are coming over here. We have no idea who they are. We don't know what they're bringing. We don't know what kind of diseases they have. And I mean, it's just totally destructive.
Absolutely. Now, since Donald Trump will wrap up his run next Friday, I've got one thing on this. Everybody has seen the story out of Georgia. A college co-ed, University of Georgia, Go Dogs, was murdered on campus in the last week by an illegal alien who, by the way, had already been thrown back out once before. So she's dead. Right. He is now in jail. If Donald Trump, I was talking to Trump, I'd say, you know what? Make it personal. This is a beautiful college student, everybody's daughter, everybody's niece. I mean, just absolutely. If it could happen to her, it could happen to your kids too. That's where Trump needs to pivot. Right there. Right. And earlier this week in Louisiana, Kenner, which is a New Orleans suburb, an illegal alien robbed a store. And the timeline's a little odd. Not sure if he attacked and raped a 14-year-old girl the day before or the day after. The sheriff in Kenner, Louisiana, was really happy to put him in irons and in the Hoosgow. And INS now says, "Oh, we're going to give you a retainer, and we want him to deport." Well, basically in Louisiana, you rape a 14-year-old girl plus an armed robbery. I'm thinking you're looking at 60 years, and he probably won't make it 60 days. By the way, convicts feel about scumbags like that. On that happy note, we
Right.
will let you get to it. Enjoy your week. On behalf of Tiffany, Mike, Greg, Jonathan, I'm Rob Milford down in Orlando. Join us again next week for another fun-filled and exciting episode of the Political Matrix Blogcast.